you ready?
We haven't recorded in 2021 yet. We haven't recorded since 2020, guys. It's been a year.
Yeah.
What are you, Vindy? My dad?
New year, new me.
Guys.
What are you doing? Are you trying to be like a TikTok fuckboy? Stop.
All right. This is the part where we read comments, but we don't have any fucking comments.
Well, let's just
Reddit.
Well, let's just introduce the new thing, right?
Yeah. This is the Weeb Club. Is I think the name of the show.
What? I didn't know that. Is this a new podcast?
No, I mean the name of the weekly show is just gonna be called the Weeb Club. You fuckers.
The weekly Weeb Club.
Whoa, what?
The Weebly Club.
Oh my fucking god. Okay. Whatever. This is.
Is that what you want on your fucking gravestone?
Maybe we should.
Are you making my gravestone Craftsdwarf? Because you're gonna outlive all of us with your old ass.
Well, Craftsdwarf is making yours, but it's not because he's gonna outlive you because he's lived forever. It's because you got like a week left in you. It's a fucking threat.
You're right. No, I do have a week left in me. It's gonna be
With all the overworking you do, you're not gonna live longer than Tezuka, my friend.
Hell yeah, let's go.
Oh my god, is that a threat?
It probably sounded like it.
More like a
It
warning
fucking
of
sounded
like
like
lifestyle,
shit.
choices.
It's like a warning of you will die. I'll make sure of it.
Yeah. Holy fuck.
It's okay, Craftsdwarf. All you'll be doing is just making my life easier. So thank you.
How?
What? What does that mean?
You're making my life easier by ending it faster. Is what I'm saying. Hey guys, welcome to the Weeb Club. We're back.
Heyo.
Can you tell by all this like manic degeneracy?
Hey guys, speaking of manic degeneracy,
I opened my mouth, Vinny. That makes it degenerate. Keep up.
Okay.
Speaking of manic degeneracy, I go on Twitter and I forgot. There's like
It wouldn't be Weeb Club without what mentioning Twitter.
I went back on Twitter and looked at the out of context Weeb Club account, and I saw the clip of when Vindy fucking said, "I'm gonna suckle his Latosies," and then I was reminded why I didn't want to record it anymore.
Funny.
I was like, yeah.
Because you can't step up to this.
Because if we just continued as was, we'd probably be talking about Beastars
Imagine
right now.
Imagine I'm like running my hands down the side of my body sexually, just letting you know.
God, you are so like. You know what, Craftsdwarf? Can you make his gravestone first?
The plot twist is I already have it done.
So I was gonna say, we probably in the first episode of the actual one that people are gonna hear.
Wait, why can't they hear this one? That doesn't make sense.
See, Nun's like on page like chapter 2, and we're like already like done with the book.
Yeah, because this is a test recording. This one is we're doing this to iron out the kinks of what we're doing, right?
Okay.
Which is why I transitioned to this, because after we do comments, we move into like general topics for the week that aren't what we've been playing or watching. That's a funny.
No,
fucking
don't
tweet.
remind me of that shit, dude. Don't remind me that that's real.
That's fucking funny. But like
It's not,
I think when we
actually.
do the first one, we should like kind of, because I imagine
I
like
feel like
all
this
I
one
can take
can
charge
just
of this.
be the first one.
But we should.
The first one doesn't have to have
No.
comments and all that.
Let's leave this in the episode because this is very humorous.
None. We literally. Oh my god. Okay. So
It's stupid
we should
to
do
not
like an
release
introduction.
this.
I am watching Monkey on Rad.
Craftsdwarf, can you explain to him why we're not?
I mean, I thought you already explained it well enough, but I guess
Well,
Nun
it's
just
that,
doesn't have
and
reading
also
comprehension.
here's the other thing. None. Here's why
It's
we're not releasing this one.
listening. There's nothing that I'm reading. Do you
Here's the
have
other
comprehension?
You still read into words as they're being spoken to you, Nun. That is
Okay,
an
that's a
expression.
stretch.
The other reason is
Okay.
because we're recording this just to talk to each other again and like get like the group dynamic back, which apparently is already fucking there. But
It never left, so you can
This
leave
one-
the Weeb Club, but the Weeb Club never leaves you.
Is this the fucking Jungle Book
No.
now?
Nobody's looking at what I posted.
I
exactly.
saw it. I said fuck you. What?
What do you think about it, man? What do you think about this?
Hold on. So the other reason, None, is because this isn't going up anytime soon because the weekly show isn't getting started until we can do a weekly show. So it'd be like,
Right. The whole point is to record stuff even weekly if we can, from February to March.
Yeah,
and
I get
maybe
it.
April.
But
and
you
then,
were like talking like this wasn't going to be
And I'm
released at
get
all.
it, guys. I'm confused.
yeah, that was the
is
plan
gonna
from
be
the beginning.
I didn't want to include this, man.
What?
I don't understand
Yeah,
what's going on.
Crafts literally said he wasn't even going to record it.
So you're not recording?
I am recording, but I'm just gonna throw it away when we're done.
What? Okay, why don't you just at least release it for patrons or something? Like, what the heck?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Good
Okay,
job.
we can release it to patrons, but
Okay, you have to edit it.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
lost
no, just
episode.
edit it.
No patron's gonna see it.
You fucked it up, none.
well, I think when we do our first actual one, because we should probably release this on podcast on whatever the fuck the Libsyn or whatever the fuck it is, which I'll do. I have no problem doing that, but
What?
I'll figure that out when we start this, like a podcasting thing, so people can listen on podcasting apps. And so I think if we do that, we should probably make our first one. We should give introductions as to who we are, kind of, because if we're rebooting kind of a weekly show that we have going for a long time, whenever also new people get introduced to the Weeb Club, they're going to go to the weekly show and watch the beginning. So I think if we do introductions in the first actual one of these we do,
I see.
it's a good idea to get people,
Fringe.
I see.
I mean, unlike the seasonals and the backlogs, I'd rather not number these because that way I'd rather have
that makes sense.
The idea that you could just jump in, kind of.
But if we have them in a playlist
other podcasts
or on a podcasting app,
number their
people will
things,
go.
and you can
People
still
always
jump
go to the first
in.
one,
That's true.
And since there's numbers, I think it encourages people to watch back if they wanted to.
which
But if they're
increases
just,
runtime
titled-
and mod.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Wow.
my thought was more that it might.
Craftsdwarf just hates money.
I know. Have you seen my channel?
You made a One Piece video yesterday.
I mean,
Or
he
today.
I mean, he called it my favorite moment in fiction. That's not very clickbaity.
Yeah,
How
not
is that
very
not?
smart.
I was reading the
Clickbaited me.
title and I was like,
I got
it's
fucking
too honest.
baited.
None hates me.
Really?
How?
Why does none hate everybody today? What the hell?
And I guess we'll find out how clickbait he was when we see how well the video does.
None's the opposite of me.
Whoa!
Oh my
That's
god.
Crafts with
None's
his
the opposite of me,
ego.
right? I was excited to record and come in here and talk to y'all, and None's dreading it, and he's coming in pissed. He has to actually fucking talk to What and Crafts and
He
Arat.
shouldn't be that pissed. We didn't have to force him to read comments.
Not this time.
Dude, he gets so triggered when we tell him to read
Oh, he
No.
gets mad when we try to ask him to do literally anything. It's like he doesn't want to be here and he hates us.
Yeah, exactly.
Show me
That's
the
why he's
proof.
mad, because he doesn't want to be here and he hates us.
Why does he hate us so much? I don't understand. What did I do to him?
I don't know. It must be racism.
Probably. Racism for me or racism from him?
He's racist.
Yeah.
Duh.
Okay.
Hates
Oh.
oh, okay.
Okay. All right then, friend. Calm down, dude. Let's chill out, man. Oh.
Jesus. Yeah. I guess if this is going out to patrons, we're sorry we took a long break, but I'm pretty sure Craftsdwarf suspended billing
I suspended
people.
the payment for both January and or the payment that would have been January 1st for December and February 1st for the month of January. And if we don't upload anything until March, then I'll be sure to do the same for February. What would have been March, which because I think it's dumb to charge people monthly for literally doing nothing. So
Poggers.
Oh.
anyway, at this point, we would probably have been smarter to think of recent
we'd have
happenings
topics
in AnyTube, and each of us come up with a short list of and then we just organically bring it up.
Or anything just kind of in general. For example, we could talk about the terrible Trash Taste podcast that none listened to part of.
I didn't
where they
listen
talked
to
about
it. I just
shonen.
heard about it.
Okay.
Let's not.
Where apparently they talked about shonen and were fucking
And did the
said
same
all
bad
the-
takes
said
that
all
have
the
been in the
things.
community
They
for
just
a decade.
listened to Super Eye Patch Wolf and then said what he says, but except worse, even worse, probably.
So,
Because it's Giga basically simps Super Eye Patch Wolf. And
I mean, nothing I heard was something that I hadn't already heard. It's just the same kind of dumb takes that have been in the community for ages now. So
Like, I just think the biggest problem is they don't update their information at all, and they think these things that they thought years ago are, like, just still true. So it's just, like, sad.
Here's something I did recently, because I was curious, because I went back and watched a bit of, like, Digi's rant, where she was, like, you know, just shitting on anime YouTubers for, like, 30 minutes, oh god, what have I done? And then I went and watched, like, Giguk's video on Don't Be Like Digi, Bro, and then I was watching for a bit, and I realized, like, nothing he said is different from anything he's saying now. Like, he hasn't changed. He has, and, like, it's interesting listening to him talk about that, and the way he talks about it, because it's interesting that he mentions, like, you know, he tried to make analytical content, and it's, like, it's interesting to hear that, and then think back to what me, Nun, and Vindy talked about on that podcast we did, where we were responding to Trash Taste, and it's, like, I'm listening to him talk and listening to him talk now, and a lot of things start to line up, like his perspective on, you know, analytical content in general, like his whole, like, oh, because one of the things he said about Digi was like, Digi bro, when he called him Digi, this is what I'm just quoting from the thing that Giguk's video, I'm not misgendering. He said, Digi bro only wants people to write one certain way, and not like, and there's certain criteria for him. So that's why, like, Giguk, he has this thing where he views all content that's good as different. And like good, like there's some truth in there to that, which is why, like, he pushed Scamboli, because when you watch Scamboli's videos, even though technically speaking, you could totally tell that it's like someone similar to Demo. It's pretty different from everything that's out in YouTube right now.
Well, I think that's, like, I mean, because there's really good in that sentiment, right? The sentiment that, like, okay, we should try to make sure that, or, like, it's good that there are people making unique content in AniTube, because that's showing that people aren't just, like, doing the exact same things, and that, like, has good to it. That doesn't mean everything unique is good, right? And it doesn't mean that something is good just because it's unique.
Yeah, because
like Scamboli.
Okay, so I'll be fair about Scamboli. I recently watched his video on Redo of Healer, and that shit was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Because all he did was just describe what happens in Redo of Healer, and then make fun of people who were, like, complaining about it or standing it really hard.
Okay, but like is it, when you're saying it's funny, are you saying that it was intentionally funny, or it was, like, an unintentionally funny video?
It was intentionally funny. It was
okay.
fucking funny. Like, it was, like, it was fucking hilarious. And I was just watching this entire thing, and, like, I can see where people, like, understand the humor of him, because if you think this very mindset of, like, everything's just whatever, it's all just dumb cartoons, and you watch his stuff, it's extremely funny, it's hilarious. But like, his Ava video, for example, gave me AIDS. I wanted to die. I wanted to take. And
that was Ava's a 1 out of 10. What the what?
Feeling.
Not present modern. Ava is a 7 out of 10. What the what?
Yeah, man, a lot changed in a year, and you know what I'm saying? That's crazy. But, like, it's so interesting to think about, right? Giguk always had this, like, and does have this mindset of, like, if it's different, it's good. And he's always had that from the beginning. I remember when his videos on, you know, his top 10 favorite fights in anime, using different examples from each genre. He always mentions, like, this is different from other things. This does this really differently. Whenever he made a video, it was always talking about how it was different. And it's like, I get the sentiment, right? When you're in AniTube for as long as him, he's been in, like, shit. He was part of Podtaku, literally one of the first big fucking anime podcasts on YouTube. One of the first successful ones. He was, like, an OG AniTuber. So, like, I understand the sentiment of, like, watching things and, like, tired of seeing the discourse and only wanting to, like, see new stuff. But it's sort of like how do I word this in a way that will not get me in trouble?
It's like he's the kid at school who was different, and everyone made fun of him for being different. And I was like, oh, that's different, so it's good. Like me, guys. Ha-ha. It's okay. I'll say it, because I know you didn't want to.
Wow. He's so toxic, guys. You hear him? He said, what the fuck? Why do you say it like that? What the hell? No, okay. And And I get the sentiment, right? I understand the sentiment. It's just because, I don't want to watch X video on how Evangelion is a deconstruction of fucking whatever, right? Like, I don't care. I'm tired of that shit. But like, just because somebody does something different doesn't necessarily mean that what they're saying is right. And ironically, I don't think Giguk and like the Anime Man do like know anymore what is and what isn't, hasn't changed in the discourse, especially from the way they were talking about, like, in that podcast we were discussing a lot. And this is really apparent when you, like, because I was talking to Super Eye Patch Wolf, and Super Eye Patch Wolf, he even said that when he made his videos, it wasn't like he was trying to be like, he thought his videos at the time were counterculture, is what Super Eye Patch Wolf told me, that his videos on shonen were counterculture. And then yeah, that's what he told me. And I was just thinking about that.
Did you know that Hunter x Hunter 2011 is this obscure classic, like, counterculture? Like, wow, huh? Interesting. Funny you say that.
It's interesting, like, how the discourse changes really fast, right? And I feel like they haven't moved, like, with it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Which is...
Well, yeah, that's what I thought was funny, is because, like, if Giguk values things being different, but he's been the same for years, so at least in his mindset on certain things, like being wrong about Shonen Jump and using the table of contents meme, and Hunter x Hunter manga has bad art, and I don't know which of those takes were his, but none would know better.
I'm pretty sure
than I do,
Connor
but
said the Hunter x Hunter thing.
I don't know who that is, so.
Sea Dog VA, the third member of
I don't know
Trash
who that
Taste.
is. Well, I know that he's part of Trash Taste, I just don't know who he is.
Sometimes I forget how, like, I don't even know the word. Like, Craftsdwarf is a hermit for all intents and purposes. Craftsdwarf is that fucking old guy who lives under the rock. That, like,
I mean,
like every time
to be fair, I didn't know who Sea Dog VA was until I watched Trash Taste.
No. Listen, but this is, I'm gonna say this, and you're gonna be completely true. You know how, like, you'll watch a YouTube video and they'll be like, I know everyone already knows X, but for those who have been living under a rock, and they, like, are really ironic about it because they're like, everyone fucking knows about this. That's Craftsdwarf, is the guy who's like, oh, I didn't know that.
Holy shit.
I've seen maybe one Giguk video, and I responded to it in another video of mine, so...
Well, toxic.
I've never seen an Anime Man video. I saw him in real life, but never a video of his. Like, at a distance, at AX. What was there?
Yeah,
Through binoculars?
Wait, we were at the meetup. You saw it?
Yeah, that's what I mean. He was there. He, like, walked... There was a lady dressed as Bakugo freaked out, I think.
All right.
So...
Yeah. Dude, I mean, like, he's a cool guy, and you notice that the reason why they got those three in particular got big is that they specifically moved away from anime specific content and more towards, like, anime and Japanese lifestyle content.
Right.
Yeah,
or, like, stuff
fans
that's more
hate
based
anime.
around like the anime, like the Western anime culture, as opposed to the actual anime itself, right?
Yeah,
and I think there's
like,
a lot of
they
reasons you
have-
could look at for that. Like, part of it is, like, if you make a video on a specific show, only the people who have seen that show are going to watch it. But if I make a video that's kind of targeted at all Western anime fucking, fans, well, more people are going to watch it, even if they haven't seen, even if it's like a popular show that everyone's watched, more people are going to be able to watch it and get enjoyment out of it. So it makes sense why they got big doing that,
Yeah, it's a smart place to move to, but it's like, it's funny because instead of, like, growing with the discourse in anime, they've moved away from it, if that makes sense. Yet still kind of talk about it.
So which is why their mindsets are, like, 5-10 years old, and what their knowledge and such, right?
Because, like, I'll be honest, a lot of, like, these older YouTubers especially, their mindsets, if you listen to the way they talk, haven't really changed, right? Like, there's a lot of them are too stuck in the way they think about during, like, back in those times. And while certain things have changed from the way they see things, their way of going about it hasn't, if that makes sense. like the way Digi talks about media, if you go back and watch anything she's made recently, or like even anything on like the channel previously known as Digi After Dark, nothing changed. There's no sense of like,
Right.
Updated knowledge or
like if I watched a video, it would be like I just stepped back in time to 2017.
Right.
When I stopped watching her.
And I think
insane.
that's something about like us, and not only us. We're not the only people who do this. I don't want to.
Yeah,
I don't want to
mine's
sit here and I don't want to sit here with one stick in one hand, craft stick in the other, and nuns in my mouth. But
well, we could if you want, but
Why that specific?
but like, I think that we're constantly evolving how we talk about media, right? And even like through Weeb Club episodes, like last season, Crafts and I were talking about how. Was it last season? Yeah, because we were talking about Kuma Kuma Bear with Isekai. We were talking about how the more Isekai we watch, the more we're like understanding the genre and all these ideas about it. Yeah, and it's giving us this deeper understanding. And so we're kind of building this like repertoire of Isekai that we're able to talk about when we talk about it. And like, that's interesting, right? And that's something that it feels like a lot of people don't do, right? They kind of, they watch a Nostalgia Critic video when they're 11. And then they watch Cinema Sins when they're 13, and they think that that's how you critique media, right? And that's all they do. And it's so, like, not just wrong, but, like, unwilling to change or look at things in a different way. It's wild.
I think another interesting thing that I was thinking about is how, like, people will think it's enough to just go back and like look at like how we were talking about, we built up like a portfolio of like isekai series. Some people instead, they'll like go back to like, say like they want to do shonen, they'll go back to just Dragon Ball and that's it, and they won't look at what's surrounding Dragon Ball and look at like
because they don't know that like Kinnikuman ran alongside Dragon Ball for a few years and did a lot of what Dragon Ball did before Dragon Ball, or they don't know that Ring Nikakuro inspired both by being this like hot blood action series that kind of like wrote the aesthetic for what shonen would become before Kinnikuman and Dragon Ball started to roll with that. Right. And they don't have this because they don't have that perspective. Like they only have the Western perspective that Dragon Ball Z happened and ruined shonen discourse forever. Because no one read Dragon Ball. and like, so, yeah.
I think that when you do that, again, like how you just said, you can't tell that other things did that. And so in a sense, it's not as helpful as you think, only looking at that one thing, because then you don't know what exactly it did.
And that's not even like
differently.
And that's not even like a specific thing. That's just a general mindset, I think, because when you're going into something, you tend to look like, that you see stuff and like, that's similar to what I know. But rather than maybe questioning, but do I know everything? Instead, it becomes like, well, I do know everything, so that means this must be like this. That's how you get the Bleach is, it must have been inspired by Yu Yu Hakusho, even though like their similarities are like they're not really that similar. Like Ichigo and Yusuke aren't similar. Their structures aren't similar. That the worlds aren't.
They
similar.
Are similar. They're
like,
delinquents.
Yeah, I know. There's delinquents. There's ghosts.
Same thing.
Right? Yeah, I love JoJo's
Is that
Bizarre
Danny
Adventure.
Phantom?
Dude, I hate that meme so much. It's such a terrible meme. I hate it. I hate it. Every time these fuckers, it's like, Bleach was inspired by Yu Yu Hakusho. And then I go, please show proof. And they go...
Apparently the big influence that I know is Saint Seiya, which I have not read or watched yet, but like from what I've heard, it makes way more sense than Yu Yu Hakusho, and it's also the one that Kubo has explicitly stated as an influence.
There's actually two specific ones that I know to my knowledge that are like just provable. Is Gegege no Kitaro and Saint Seiya.
Because that's like a yokai one, right?
Yeah, those are the two that he's mentioned in interviews that specifically he was inspired by, which is a cool thing, everybody. Did you know that if you look up Tai Kubo interview, you can find it within seconds?
But Kubo lied.
No, here, let me look. Let me look up
the kind of shit people
tight
say.
Kubo interview, and then I'll type in the word inspiration.
It's so, guys, it's gonna take him so long, so much work.
Oh my God! Wait, inspiration. What was your inspiration for Bleach? I wanted to draw Soul Reapers wearing kimono. When I first designed Rukia, she wasn't wearing a kimono, but I wanted to create something that no one had seen before. From there, I created the world of Bleach. Okay.
So there's interviews. If you like literally, if you look up Bleach Yu Yu Hakusho,
wow.
you're gonna find. Oh, whoa.
This is on Viz.com. Were there any specific manga you read when you were young that inspired you to become a mangaka? Gigigi no Kitaro, holy fuck, I can't talk, by Shigeru Mizuki was my earliest influence. It was the first manga whose characters I ever tried to sketch. I really liked his yokai, and his art has a unique flavor. My art style is so simple compared to Mizuki Sensei's work, which is very detailed. There, we literally found an inspiration on the second...
In like 1 or 2 minutes after like Vindy started searching.
And like it's if you look up fucking Bleach Yu Yu Hakusho, you're only gonna get some shitty CBR article where some unpaid intern is gonna be there like, they're both delinquent. They both go to Spirit World. The Grim Reaper. And it's like,
yeah, and well, see, and where I actually came to think about, like, yeah, that we did have that conversation on the Vindy server a few days ago, but
the
really
Nunmanji server, you hate none too.
I'm sorry.
I knew it already
because I started.
That was so sad.
I like it's defeated. Just I knew already.
I'm sorry. I was trying to brush out my words.
He's trying to make up for it. He's trying to make up for it.
Yeah.
Too late, Craft.
Anyway, well, so I started watching Sailor Moon, and I guess part of the reason, like, I've been interested in it for a while.
Inspired
it. I mean, Precure made it good, but anyway. Well, so like mostly because I was looking up, I remember poking around Cutie Honey because I started that a lot longer ago, and there's still a few Cutie Honey things I haven't gone through. One of them being the Cutie Honey F anime that aired in the 90s, and my analyst review mentioned that it takes influence from Sailor Moon, and I was like, okay. At the time, I was like, sure, maybe I should watch Sailor Moon at some point before watching this. But watching Sailor Moon, what do I see but Cutie Honey? Specifically in how, like, so apparently this was, I asked Nun, because you recently started the manga, right, Nun, for Sailor Moon?
Yeah, I read the first arc and some of the second one.
And so in the anime adds something where Usagi, she has like a device that allows her to transform and she gets disguises. Like she boarded she became like a musician or a flight attendant, and she'll use these for disguises to sneak into places so that because usually there's some monster doing some shit, or she'll do it for her own shitty selfish reasons because she's a dumb idiot brat and I like her. But so my first thought when she starts doing that is like, oh, Cutie Honey does, like, that's her whole gimmick, is she transforms into different things and she gets different abilities and powers based on what she transforms into. The most common example being, aside from her normal Cutie Honey form, which she fights in, is it's like Mach Honey, where she can pilot any vehicle, and that's like her one of her more useful abilities that she uses in the original series. So I'm just like, so that review said, oh, this Cutie Honey anime reminds me of Sailor Moon, but here I am like, wow, Sailor Moon sure reminds me of Cutie Honey. But because I do have that older perspective on another transforming hero show with a female main character that I think Joy did.
I do have that older, wiser perspective. I have been around since the birth of the universe.
Exactly. Right, so perspective is really where it kind of ends up mattering, and so like, but people don't challenge their perspective, and especially when, even though it's very narrow, because Western anime and manga has just like kind of honed in on very few specific things.
Right. Well,
and so yeah, like Cutie Honey it's a classic in Japan. In the West, it's a really obscure. I wouldn't even call it cult, because the people, like most of the people I know of in my servers and stuff, don't even like it that much.
Cutie Honey? You mean that thing that Anna worked on?
Right. Well, that's because that's the only good part of it that I've experienced so far.
Well, here's my thing about the similarities between Bleach and Yu Yu Hakusho, right? So there are some that like you could look at as like, oh, they're the spirit world, but a lot of the other ones aren't necessarily similarities between Yu Yu Hakusho and Bleach. I mean, even then
with like the spirit world thing, there's still like the what's the name?
Right, but I'm making a larger point, None. Okay. My point is that a lot of the other things that people bring up were literally just in like all fucking shonen manga at the time, right? That was like the aesthetic of shonen manga, right? Was you had a delinquent main character and you had these other elements, right? That's why I mentioned the spirit world is because, like, yeah, not every fucking shonen manga at the time had a spirit world, but like, look at other shonen manga that were popular in like the 90s, right? It's early 2000s, right? You have fucking a Slam Dunk. That's about a delinquent, right? You have Roku Danashi Blues. That's about a delinquent. You had Rookies. That's about a team of delinquents, right? Even like Great Teacher Onizuka. He's a fucking delinquent.
If you go older, you have Otoko Ipike Gakida Sho, which is like one of the most like a pretty notable entry in Shonen Jump main characters delinquent. Or a little bit after that, Sakigake Otoko Juku.
Right.
I might have fucked that.
Yeah. Which that was popular.
Delinquent manga
a little bit
are
earlier,
a whole
yeah.
thing, right?
Part
So it's
3
like,
of JoJo's. Yeah. So delinquents
Yeah.
were, they were a staple of shonen manga and of Shonen Jump at the time. So it's not Naruto was a fucking delinquent at the start of the fucking story. Like it's not
Delinquents
fair.
in anime are like in like a lot of Japanese media is just a staple. It is like one of the
Wait, no.
most
But
common
the
tropes.
point I'm making is that like a lot of times like we talked about with isekai like at certain times within certain genres there's going to be a lot of things that you see as similarities, right? There's an aesthetic of the genre at a time within that context. If you look at things without that context of the aesthetic of the genre at the time, you compare two things, you'll see a lot of similarities. Those similarities aren't there necessarily because of inspiration, but they can be there because, oh, wow, that was just literally the aesthetic of the genre at the time, right? I know delinquents have more of a history. I'm bringing that up because that's a thing people talk about. Like, a lot of the things that people talk about as, like, similarities between Bleach and Yu Yu Hakusho were just aesthetics of shonen in the late 90s and early 2000s. They were things that every series had because that's what was selling. That's what was hot. So that's what mangaka were probably either they wanted to or they were told by their editors to put it in to make it more successful, right?
Yeah. Well, and I guess this is a related topic, but it's something I have been thinking about. Where just in general, because people do kind of like look at, these pieces of Japanese media, but they see stuff they don't recognize and they go like, oh, that's weird. Or they see stuff that's different from what they know and they go, oh, this is wrong. By which I'm going to use the example, Naruto stopped being about ninjas and started being about kaiju battles and, big explosive powers. And why I think that's dumb isn't just that obviously I don't think there's a problem with it. But I've been watching Ninja Sentai Kaku Ranger. And, like, the thing about, like, ninja stories is that, like, they've been a thing in Japan since well before, like even obviously the Western has like a
since
specific...
Japan had fucking ninjas,
right? Well, but the media of ninjas is like, I know, but it's like it's still a specific thing. Like it takes influence from kabuki plays because they have the special effects guys in the wearing black that they're non-diegetic. You kind of ignore them. They're like stagehands, literally on the stage, like doing stuff. But then some apparent kabuki plays would go meta with it and have them become like characters,
most characters
and do stuff.
And most characters in Naruto.
Well, yeah, but that's the aesthetic that where the ninja idea comes from, is that the black robes and the coverings of the face, like, that's not what actual ninjas wore and stuff. And then there's also ninja media, like The Tale of Jiraiya, and all this a bunch of other stuff like novels and stuff, even plays that have developed these ninja tropes, like secret villages and clans and clan wars and eye techniques, which is why I remember there was an interesting post by someone who because people say, oh, Sasuke, he was influenced by Kurapika. Kishimoto is just lying because when he brought up influences from Togashi, he mentioned Hiei, which I would agree with because Hiei's personality is really close to Sasuke's at the start of the series, where he's just this edgy, nice guy. But if you look at like this because people say, oh, they have red eyes, oh, they're the last survivors of the clan. Well, those are just ninja tropes. And if you look at other, like, I remember reading Basilisk for the first time, and I see eye powers, and I'm like, oh, this reminds me of Naruto. But this was like fucking 10, 15 years ago, and looking back now, it's like, oh, it's ninja tropes. And so, which brings me to Ninja Sentai Kaku Ranger, is that here's a ninja show that is placed in the context of Super Sentai, which has a very specific, like, structure. Like, there's a team of 5, they have giant robots, and so, like, there was even jokes about, like, oh, wow, the show, it was about ninjas for, like, 5 seconds, and then it just has giant robots, right? But, like, they do, like, jutsu and stuff, too, in the battles, and, like, they get, like, a duplicate giant robot, like, it's adapting those ninja tropes that have been in Japanese stories for a while into the tokusatsu Super Sentai context. That's what the show is. So Naruto is just taking those same ninja tropes and adapting into the shonen context because people don't have that fucking problem in Japan. Because again, like, these ideas, they get it. Is what I'm saying.
I can't believe Cocksuck Ranger revolutionized ninjas.
Well, it's just the example I was thinking of because, like... Shut the fuck up, Vindy. I hate you. But it's just another example of the way that, like, Western viewers don't account for the culture of the nation who's and like the other media that they have in regards to what they're consuming,
Right.
because Naruto became popular in ways that like Power Rangers wasn't, even though it had ninja stuff and that exact same stuff. It's obviously like it's Power Rangers. It's not really like,
Right.
and it's even more different than Ninja Sentai Kaku Ranger already was. And Western viewers weren't familiar with a lot of the ninja tropes that maybe outside of that, but it was just I don't know, yeah. And then
Well,
what was I gonna say?
and part of the problem I think also is it comes down to like you have like you have these things, right? But especially when you talk about older stuff, so when you go back to the 80s or the 90s, and especially before that, so few of the fucking series are there's still so many fucking manga coming out today that don't get translations, right? So when you go back farther, there's so much that just we can't read, right? That like we
Right.
can't get an actual accurate idea of what it was, of what the media was. We can only look at the big stuff, but there's so much more there that we just don't have the ability to watch.
Oh, that's actually something I've been thinking of, because like new Jump series are starting. There was like a round of cancellations, and now there's new series coming in. And what I was thinking of is like I was just wondering like, okay, as for every like batch of new Jump series that they do at once, like I was what started alongside One Piece and Naruto, right? Like
Right.
what failed where One Piece succeeded. Or alternatively, like I'm wondering what's the best batch of new manga? Like imagine if like 3 series that came out within 3 weeks of each other that all became successful. Like that's interesting to think about, right?
Never mind.
Like because usually a bunch of them get canceled, if not all of them. And so those are just some thoughts I've been having lately. But again, we don't have every Jump series translated. And even though we do, like, Jump is probably one of the more well-documented magazines because of its, popularity of some of its major series. But even then, there's still a bunch of stuff from its catalog that's missing. So
Yeah,
I would say
I was thinking about
there's-
the police, like the one with the police officer. I forget what it's called.
Oh, Kochikame?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's like
Is
a
that what it's
Kochikame
called?
reference in like Sket Dance or something.
Oh,
And,
there's a
like,
whole
Yeah.
Well, there was a whole issue. I remember it because he appears in the background of One Piece during Eniya's lobby. Apparently, during the issue for celebrating Kochikame's 30th anniversary, they all the
Yeah.
series in the magazine referenced it.
And
Gintama
Yeah.
had a
Gintama
full-on
had
arc,
had like an arc about it. Yeah.
like a
Like-
2-chapter arc. So
Didn't Oda also like say something about like the Kochikame author being something that he isn't? or
that was in
something
an
like that?
interview. Well, yes, no. The context was that because you know how Jump will do the New Year's parties where they'll just have a bunch of the authors and editors all at a party. With,
Okay, I remember what it was.
so
the
basically,
Kochikame
yeah,
author like reads everything, and like Oda
Yes,
says he could never. Like,
how Oda described it, well, because, the Kochikame, he reads everything, he was giving advice to the newbies, and Oda was just thinking, like, how he can't do that. And so
Yeah.
how Oda framed it is, like, the author of Kochikame is the captain. He's the one kind of leading the
Yeah.
team, helping everything, where Oda's content to be the ace. He's the most successful series. Like, because
Wow.
One Piece is being so successful, like, that's, Wendy,
So
we've talked about
self-centered.
this. Well, we've talked about this, Vindy, about how, like, because One Piece is so successful that, like, Kimetsu no Yaiba was allowed to end. Because
Right.
if the magazine didn't have One Piece, Jump might not be content to let, like, a popular series end.
Yeah, Kimetsu, Promise Neverland, Haikyuu,
To have fucking
Study
Mission
Yuna.
Yozakura be the 6th longest running series in the magazine.
Right.
Like... right, but because One Piece is able to be this like long-running stable thing that it's not like making as much money as Kimetsu or even Jujutsu Kaisen. Well, probably if we talk about like full franchise, maybe One Piece is probably making more, but
it definitely
maybe
is.
than like Jujutsu. But in volume sales, like right now, Kimetsu and Jujutsu Kaisen are blowing the fuck up. But because One Piece is going to be this long, like I don't think Kimetsu is going to be like. Maybe it'll still be selling really well, like by the end of the year, but it's got to drop off eventually, right?
right? Like Kimetsu won't be a cultural landmark the way that One Piece is.
Right, because it's only going to be. It's like it blew up in a massive way that nothing has replicated, even One Piece. But One Piece is probably going to get another massive explosion when it ends. So,
By the way, I'm really
you know.
upset because you said just really quickly, you were talking about the best batch of new manga, and I knew that these two started really close to each other. Haikyuu and Nisekoi started 4 months apart, but
Okay.
that's not
So
that's two two separate batches.
Two subsequent batches.
But that
two
makes me
different
really
batches.
upset that those didn't, because I knew they started close together. I'm sad that it wasn't a couple weeks just so we could have the definitive best batch in all of Jump.
Well, that would have even made the Nisekoi Haikyuu one-shot crossover even cuter. Because
Yeah.
they started with that really close to each other. But close, but not quite.
Honestly, so it's interesting looking at it because honestly, I think like the influence thing isn't even a problem like isolated to just Japanese media. Like,
no, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere, and it's terrible because then you like. I feel like when people say X influence like is like the first one to do a certain thing, I feel like it's really just a matter of people's wording now. Because like, I can understand someone saying that Evangelion popularized the trope. That is understandable because
Evangelion was the first piece of media ever to use Christian symbolism.
it's the first ever. Dude.
Honestly, Evangelion was the first piece of media ever to use a cross. Like, could you imagine how fucking ridiculous it would be if someone said that? But like, that's essentially what people say because like the problem is a lot of times when people talk about shit like that, they refuse to do like what people should do when you think about what started tropes and go back to like the seminal stories in a culture, right? So like, you know, if you're talking about Western civilization, you would go back to like Greek and Roman mythology and the Bible, right?
Well, here's your problem. Here's your problem, Vinny. That's because we're interested in the discourse. We care about understanding things.
Yeah, but most people, they don't care, but they want to act like they know things, so they pretend.
I think when everyone had to fucking read the Odyssey in high school, people just fucking closed their eyes because they thought it was boring when that fucking story's interesting because of the way it influenced like every other story told fucking after it.
I think that some people just think it's like cool to, you know, because they like Ava, for example. They'll say Ava did this for all these other things, and there will be a similarity, of course, yeah, but it's like, it's not that Ava necessarily did that first. They just like Ava and have seen it, so they think it must have been the one that did that.
I'll tell you what it is, because it's really simple. It's just that people want to be involved in the discussion. And it's like I talked about in my gatekeeping video. People want to be like, oh, yeah, I know about, you know, everybody's there talking about basketball. So, like, you go, oh, yeah, I know about that. And they act like it's why like people who are into sports shit on bandwagon fans, because it's irritating for someone who has no idea about anything to just randomly like involved in it. Like my family is like, you know, because we're from the Bay Area.
I assume you mean in a way that like they're trying to be involved with that without like being aware of how little they know.
Yeah,
right?
So it'd be like this, right? So like, you know, when the Warriors were at the peak of their popularity, right? That's when all of a sudden all the Lakers fans who haven't seen a championship ring in years all of a sudden jumped on the Warriors bandwagon. And like, all of my family members are from the Bay Area, so we're like contractually obligated to like the Warriors. And so I hear all this shit from like, you know, a lot of the shit from like osmosis and shit. I just hear it all the time. I'm not gonna pretend like I'm an expert. But then we got people from LA like, oh my god, I love the Warriors, and they only know like two things, like, oh, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and they forget about like the other people on the roster. And then when you ask them about like the game, they're like, oh yeah, you know, my favorite Warriors player is Steph Curry, and like you're like, who else? And they go, Kevin Durant, because those are the only two they know. So then but they want to be involved in the conversation because there's a lot of other people who are talking about it.
Well, it's not just that. It's that, like, people want... Okay. Here's I think, part of it as well, right? And this is really prevalent in anime and manga and stuff, right? The anime and manga community... And I'm not going to say it's just anime and manga. It's a lot of things where a lot of people do this. But I think especially...
It has a special, like, cultural barrier, yeah.
No. It's that, especially I think because anime and manga is very, because it's kind of, especially for a long time, right? So this is, I think, way more prevalent with people who are super into it, you know, in the mid 2010s or before, or, you know, around there, where it was kind of seen as like weird and shit. People attach it to their identity, right? They make their identity that they like anime, you know? Which is fucking cringe to begin with.
It's extremely cringe, actually.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And because they make it their identity that they like anime and manga and shit like that, they don't want to admit that they maybe aren't as smart about it or they're not as good at reading it, right, as other people, right? Because it's their identity. So if they make this whole fucking thing their identity, and then their fucking identity, like, they're not good at, then like to them that's essentially like they would be saying that they're like not good as a person or some shit, right? Because they fucking make their entire being that they like anime and manga, right? So they have to have the best takes and they have to say the smartest shit. But that's not how it fucking works, right? You can fucking watch a shit ton of anime and manga and just like it and just appreciate it and enjoy what you watch, and you don't have to be some fucking weird, obsessive, autistic fucking weirdo like any of us who get all into the fucking discussion and all about all these fucking things, and we're losing our minds about, oh, you know, I want to go back and watch fucking Ninja Sentai Cocksuck Ranger and talk about, you know,
okay, we're ending
Naruto.
the podcast. Thank you for listening.
or
you,
you know,
Ranger, dumbass.
or you know, fucking we all do shit like that, right? Like I fucking wanted to go back and read all these other sports series, and then I stopped. But you know, we do all these different things, and we go back and we read previous series, and we read interviews, and you know, we talk about these series in a way that like people don't want to put that effort in, you know. And because of that, we have a deeper understanding, and we talk about like the fucking, you know, the themes and reading of stories, and we get like really into it. And part of that is that, you know, we're open to ideas, and so we admit that we're wrong all the time, right? All of us here have said things that are wrong and admitted it later.
Not me, Vindy.
You said Boruto is better than Naruto. Don't
I
talk to me.
think that I'm always right. I can never be proven wrong, and you know, I think my opinion is objective fact, and I only keep people around. I only keep yes men around, and I have a Trump-like cult that follows me around.
Well,
That's
and
true.
Okay,
that's why you think
maybe.
Ray Zero is a 1 out of 10.
Yes,
Zero?
Ray Zero. Fuck you.
Man, hey, don't tell him he's wrong. You'll shatter his
You're right.
ego.
I'm sorry. Well, but those are things that like we do because we actually care about discussion as opposed to care about preserving our identity or our egos, right?
Can we like talk about this for a second? Because I think that's interesting. Like, for example, we have the Bleach community. And it's just like, I get it. I was Bleach
Just
fan.
name him. Just fucking name him.
No,
this is
you
only
gotta-
only patrons
it's
are
not-
going to
okay,
hear
here's
this.
the thing, though.
Just say
He's-
DB Zimron.
No, okay, he's not the only one, though. Which is, like, because when you look at Bleach YouTube, at
Maybe
a
he just
certain
wants to be
point,
toxic.
you realize that, like, all of them are this certain way, because I get it. When you, like, at a certain point, Bleach stopped being cool to like in terms of, like, it's, okay, in the anime community, in terms of the other anime fans.
Stop being cool to like. It's called Chapter 1.
Okay. I'm ending the podcast anyway. No, what it was,
Vindy, we just need Nun to say, or to Vindy to say something where Nun says he wants to end the podcast, and then he'll have pissed off.
And then I'm getting kicked. And then I'm getting kicked. Let's fucking go.
thank God. Anyway,
I'm surprised
so,
Nun didn't say it when I made that fucking Naruto joke earlier, where you said that like, oh, they're characters who don't do anything, and I said just like Naruto. That was to try to piss Nun off, but he didn't say shit.
I didn't hear it.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't
I
understand
actually didn't hear
squeaking.
it either.
I didn't hear it either.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, right? So like the Bleach community, like they like, here's the thing. Bleach was one of the 3 biggest series in all of anime. Or like,
Right.
okay, 4 if you include Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Right?
The big
It-
3.
They were standing at the top, like, of everybody. They would sit there and like talk down to everybody else. But then the anime ended, and then everybody who like was a casual watcher who fell off at some point, because you know everybody does for a long running show. But like Bleach was special in the fact that the anime ended and they had a reason to be like, you know, now that it's over, I don't actually like it. And it's like now we have like these people finally dropping off, and like Bleach ends up like everybody else. Now they're getting slandered as much as every other series, and for a while, and you know, it hurts. It hurts to be there and like have your series disrespected. But it's the one thing that like to feel bad about that, but also like I push your identity as being a Bleach fan. And I'm not gonna only talk about Imran, because like Imran like is just like one of the many Bleach fans who are just like this.
Right.
They like James Hansen, freaking Tech King 101, you know, all of them at a certain point felt like, because they based their channels around, they based their identities around Bleach, these motherfuckers have interviews about like Tai Kubo wiping off his cock on something, and I'm like, how the fuck did you find that?
Yeah.
Because they do nothing but worship Tai Kubo.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna
fake Bleach fan can't even say his fucking name.
Well, the funniest part was that he corrected himself wrong and made it. Actually, the second one was even more wrong.
Yeah, I was like losing my mind. But anyway, Tight Kubo. So like, they care so much to the point where they turn around and like anybody who doesn't care as much of them is like an enemy.
Right.
It's like, oh, like now they're shitting on like fucking Oceanas for like after slandering the series for years, all of a sudden reading it for the first time and like changing his mind because oh shit, he changed his mind. And it's like, dude, he's only in Soul Society first of all. Wait a bit so he can fucking like read
Get
the
the
wrong
same
card
bad
and
take
say
as
the wrong
everyone, yeah.
Because he's made the same bad takes about Naruto already. So it's like, what did you expect? It's gonna happen again. So it's like, I don't understand why they were mad about it. Like, if I were smart like them, I'd wait till he got to a wrong car and then shit on him and be like, yeah, bitch. But like, it's so dumb because these freaking weebs, like, they like in high school were made fun of for liking anime, and now that anime is slowly becoming popular, they want to like all these people are coming out of the woodworks and like they attach their identities to these shows, and it's like,
well, they've been doing that since because they were getting made fun of high school, and so they're like, oh, well, I'm gonna be different and special, and they go online, they meet other people who like anime as well, and they're like, oh, so I guess it's cool to like it because inside this small little group I have, it's cool, so that means it's fucking cool, right? So I'm gonna attach my entire identity. So they place all these fucking anime stickers on their fucking cars and drive around looking at it like that. It's like, fuck, that's so weird, right? It's fucking cringe. It pisses me off because it's so.
Here's a spoiler for everybody. Especially, like, if you meet an Asian has 100% watched anime. Just in general. All Asians across. Filipinos, Japanese, Chinese, every single one has watched anime. You're gonna be like fucked to not find an Asian girl who does not know what Sailor Moon is.
That's why, like, when I was in high school, right? When I was getting into anime, I didn't talk to the weird anime kids about it.
Well,
I was already
hated me.
Well, I was already friends with all the Asian kids in my class, so I just started talking to them about it. Because they'd all seen it, and it wasn't even like a, it just kind of came up one day and we started talking about it. But it wasn't like a, oh, we make it our identity. And I'm not going to say, and I don't think it's bad that, watching anime and being into manga and like, doing the Weeb Club and stuff like that. Yeah, that's a part of my identity. I care a lot about it. It's a part of who I am. It's not all of it. I don't attach my takes in anime aren't, equivalent to my self-worth, right? But, the problem is people make it everything about who they are instead of like who they are and how those things are a part of them, right? The fact that they like anime is them, as opposed to like, what's your personality? Oh, anime memes, JoJo memes. Haha, is that a JoJo meme? Haha, best girl. Haha.
Vindy's personality is racism, for being honest, and bigotry.
Well, and I guess if we're going to come to some kind of a conclusion, I guess because what I've been thinking about is how like. To use some of the examples we've talked about, so like Bleach or Sailor Moon, I got into these things relatively recently. Like, what you have a personal example with Onimaru, where you've been a Love Live fan for a long time, but you're refreshed by Onimaru because like he just gets into it, open mind, and doesn't have the same dipshit dumb takes that Love Live fans do.
You
right?
have no idea. Like he said something that made me feel so happy. I was like, dude. I was like, what did you think about the end of School Auto Project Season 1 where the second years had their falling out? I was expecting him to have the same dumb shit take of like, it was unrealistic, it was dumb. And he just went like, no, it was fine. I mean, wasn't my favorite thing, but it was fine. And I was like, and I like told him what people were saying about it, that it was unrealistic, or that people were like, it felt out of nowhere. And he's like, why do they think that?
You know what I realized? Oh my god!
Go on, Vindy.
I just realized really quickly how broken we are by the bad takes. Because I remember when I was watching Love Live for the first time, my first thought when I saw it was like, oh yeah, people are gonna think that's fucking stupid.
Well, see, what I was thinking of is how when I watched Love Live for the first time, and because with the part where Honoka like tries too hard and she fucks up and fails, and I was fine with it, and what was talking as though it was a problem, and I'm like, but it's fine, like, and now he doesn't have a problem with it, but the what have then was aware of what the fan base thought of it and was more hesitant about just saying that it's like it works, right?
You know what's interesting?
What did that with Bleach to me, like when I was reading it, like I'm pretty sure I was like, I told him I was gonna read it or something, or that I read it. I don't know, but he was basically saying so he had problems with 1,000-Year Blood War, and that
like some this is like before I went.
I don't know. He was just saying some things that were like,
well, I think
admitting defeat.
I mean, there are some problems with 1,000-Year Blood War. Let's be honest.
Listen, I like have like one. and that it wasn't, and that's just that it wasn't long enough. That's my problem.
That and then I'm not gonna say it's not like a fair, like it's justified and it's understandable, and I don't actually hold it against Bleach. But there are like 3 volumes right before the final one, right before the end, like volumes whatever, because like 74 volumes, so volumes fucking like whatever, like 69 to like 72 or whatever. Like the art does kind of dip a little bit, but besides that, it's great. It's true.
Suck my ass.
It's still
Suck my ass.
Kubo,
Suck
so
my
it's
ass.
still
Suck my
really
ass.
good.
Suck my ass. Suck my ass.
It's
Suck
just
my
not
ass.
peak
Suck my
Kubo,
ass.
I
Suck
guess
my
is
ass.
what
Suck
you're
my
saying,
ass.
right,
Suck
Vindy?
my ass.
Yes.
Suck my ass. Suck my ass. Suck my
And
ass.
it's understandable. The man was dying, but
I was dying for his cock. Okay, you shut the fuck up.
But anyway, to finish my thought is what I'm saying is like I think what's important, I guess, to help combat these bad takes, because I guess maybe the old fans aren't going to change their minds because they've been thinking the same dumb wrong things for fucking 10 years. So get new fans into it and make sure they know, because like watching Sailor Moon, I've never seen a lot of discussion of it. I might have a new perspective on it compared, even though like everyone recognizes Sailor Moon. But how many? No, like it doesn't get a lot of discussion that at least that I've seen.
It gets discussion when people assume things about it when they're talking about Madoka. So like,
and I've seen Madoka, but I've also seen a lot of other Magical Girl stuff. I'm over halfway through Doremi. I've watched several Precure series. I watched it's not Magical Girl, but it's transforming hero anime. Cutie Honey. I've watched a few things of like the fact that I'm watching Sailor Moon and being reminded of Cutie Honey, like because it's so popular. I don't imagine watching Cutie Honey before Sailor Moon is a common thing.
Right.
But because I have, that's a perspective that I can offer that is relatively uncommon in the Western space. So, getting someone new into Bleach, they're hopefully not going to have the dumb takes, right? So, so
even
just,
when
that's,
What
I
was
guess,
saying
a general
those
way
things to me, I thought it was fine. Like I didn't have any problems with Thousand Year Blood War. For the
right,
most
and that's
part.
what we were just saying about Love Live, or I was, So it's like
I'm
it's just
constantly proven wrong. If I'm like, it's so strange to me that people have this idea that I don't like being I'm incapable of like proving that I'm like changing my opinion, or that I don't like being proven wrong, when like half the reason why I watch shit is to hopefully prove myself wrong. You have no idea how hard I was like anticipating Ava becoming like jumping and like me all of a sudden like bawling at some point, which I did cry like at the end of NGE, but like
just because you were finally fucking done with it and you could fucking
sure, yeah, that's right. Yeah, Vindy, but like it's so dumb. Like,
right,
it's people don't want to change their minds. Like when I had that conversation with Super Eye Patch Wolf, he already had his mindset made about it. He already had his thoughts made, and at that point I recognized that like there's nothing I could say that would realistically change his mind. But every single new person I've gotten into like Love Live or like Bleach, they like it, right? And it's interesting. And it's almost like I almost feel like I don't really care about like the fan base anymore, because like they're not going to change. There's no way they are going to. I might as well just focus my efforts on bringing new people in who are going to change or have different perspectives.
right.
See, that's what I was thinking is like, while right now series like Naruto and Bleach are kind of fucked, I think when we get to that future where less and less people have seen it, and like somebody comes out with like a big video on it and makes those people who haven't really seen it actually
Naruto video
watch or read it, they'll have good takes on it, and then they'll cause the change, since they haven't they're pretty much blank slates. And then even some of the older people, because of them, will like maybe change their mind, kind of, sort of. But like either way, I think it like relies on the newer people who haven't already. Well, even made up their minds.
you're speaking of hypotheticals, but I think even like in the present, having the positive take, it like sure, even if now, like I think it's really interesting to look at the numbers for comparing Plague of Gripes' shitty Naruto video to say Mathwiz's and my videos on Naruto and Sasuke, where it's like. Our videos aren't close to that popular, but they also really got a lot of views. Like Mathwiz's Talk No Jutsu video is one of her most popular videos. My Sasuke video is my most popular video, right? And so like that these positive takes got any kind of traction, let alone like the massive traction they did get, it is good, even if like the general cultural like knowledge and opinion is closer to the Plague of Gripes video, which is why that video is more popular. Like, the fact that there are positive takes that do have, like, notable amount of views is, like, a good thing. Like, it's progress, I guess I would say. Like, I think someone on my server, I want to say Askin or Kurosawa, I don't remember which one, but, like, they're like, reading old forum discussions, and, like, aside from old memes, it's even worse. It's like there's nothing good. Like, for the big three and shonen in general, like, so progress, I guess. We have good takes out there, so, you know, things are getting better, I guess.
It's
I don't know.
It's just people aren't gonna change if their minds are already set, and not because they don't want to be proven wrong. They want to be proven wrong, but it's also like, I'll be honest, it takes a certain level of, like, work to prove yourself wrong, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. In order to change my mind on Eva, I had to watch the whole fucking thing, including the rebuilds, and come to a decision. Nobody's gonna put that much effort. No one's gonna read One Piece.
Yeah.
Because, oh my god, 1,000 chapters is too hard to read, right? It's like, and you know, nothing you can do about that. Like, there's no way Sword Art Online's fucking reputation is gonna change drastically anytime soon.
Yeah, but, you know, again, like, we can still do our videos on it, and maybe, like, they will have some kind of little change, even if it's a little change. Yeah. Right?
You know what if I'm gonna, like, defend something that's, like, negative, you know, my goal for it would be to defend it in a way that people who like it don't feel bad for liking it, and thus will defend themselves when other people are shitting on it, right? And then hopefully, if they continue defending it, continue liking it, because, like, here's the thing. Let's be honest. I was thinking about this earlier, and we should probably think about ending, like, the discussion portion of the podcasting, because we're going for an hour, right? But, like, I was thinking about this earlier when we were talking about the isekai stuff. Is like, look, people like to shit on Sword Art Online, and some fucking cringe-ass motherfuckers like to shit on ReZero as well, right? But let's be honest. Now that we've seen a lot more isekai, and we've seen a lot more of the seasonal random isekai that air each fucking season, what Sword Art Online, and I know, Sword Art Online's not isekai totalization. Shut up. What Sword Art Online and, like, what ReZero did in terms of, like, being entertaining good shows, like, there's a reason they were as popular as they are, and something like Kuma Kuma Bear or Cautious Hero weren't, right?
Yeah.
They had things besides just having hot girls that people attached themselves to, that people liked, that made people watch the whole show, you know? And, like, that's something that, like, people don't understand. So, like, there are a bunch of, like, Sword Art Online fans. And, yeah, the discussion among people who think they're fucking, these fucking big analytical smart guys who are not that because they're dumb, you know, sure, that's the thing. And they don't understand, right? But at the same time, there are fans, and it's almost like the people who like something are there, and eventually they'll be more open about the fact that they like it if there are more positive takes and more people are describing what the series does well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Like what's Bleach video definitely did that with some people.
Yeah, honestly, I'm just tired of it, right? Because, you know, I went on big dumb rant about this, but, like, I made my Love Live videos ironically as, like, I counterculture, if that makes sense. That was ironically counterculture, because the reason why What Is a School Idol the video exists is because some dumb fuck Love Live fan was complaining about the fact that Muse, like, didn't become real idols and just keep singing. And I was like, the entire time just molding about, why didn't you just watch the fucking show? But apparently this was, like, a common thing going around. So then that's the reason why I don't make it's like, sure, my Love Live videos might get appreciated by the fans or people who want validation for, like, my character-specific videos. Like, yeah, this is why Chica's best girl. This is why Yo's best girl. And it's like, okay, cool. They don't actually care. The Love Live fan base is like, all they care about is vibes and shit. Like, you know, I just want to, you know, like my favorite girl. And it's the people in the fan base are usually part of the reason why people aren't going to give the show a second chance. And it's usually the loud vocal minority who just doesn't know how to shut the fuck up. Mm-hmm. Like, we have the fucking One Piece fans who, like, people would read One Piece if they weren't harassed every fucking day to, like, watch the anime and not read the manga for some reason. Like,
I mean, they also do that cringe thing where they, like, say, it gets good, like, 100 episodes in or some crazy big number. And they probably don't even think that's true, but they're afraid
they
someone
wanna-
won't like it, so they stretch it further.
Yeah, it's
to,
almost like if they tell you it
here.
gets good X, then it's like, okay, hopefully they'll like it by this point and they'll continue watching it, right? Because the person will be like, I'll watch 100 episodes to see it get good, instead of like, yeah, I really like it from the beginning. It's like, oh, okay, let me check it out. And then they're like, I'm not super into it. Like, it does get better, but, this is part of it. And then maybe they keep going. And
this is what I figured out. You got to figure out what the person is into and kind of like sell them on in a different way. For example, the reason why a lot of Love Live fans write off Love Live, for example, is because they get it sold as the moe slice of life idol show. And it's like, of course they're going to write everything off. They go in with the mindset that like, oh, none of this matters. It's just cute girls doing dumb shit. But then I tell someone like, yo, this show's Haikyuu but with idols. And they go, what? That doesn't make any sense. Let me figure out what you're saying. And then they fucking take the show more seriously all of a sudden when you give it to them in a certain light. Like, if you sell Evangelion to somebody as like the most deep religious experience you will ever experience in your life, it's deep and the symbolism means everything, you're gonna get people like Scamboli watching it and realizing what you should have realized, that like the dumb robot shit doesn't matter. Because like, of course he's not gonna understand. Man's been told that like Evangelion is like the deepest thing imaginable and all these hidden details. The fucking hidden details don't matter.
Read the fucking subtitles.
Read the subtitles. Like, of course he thinks that. Every Eva fan is terrible at defending their series because all they do is just fucking go like, oh my god, and then the Dead Sea Scrolls, and then Lilith is in the basement. And
Evangelion's OP is the perfect like personification of that show, right? There's a shit ton going on in the visuals. Some people try to pause it and look at every picture. But what matters is that the visuals don't fucking matter. The song fucking slaps. Woo! Right? And that's what Eva is. Just fucking don't look at the visuals. Don't pause the OP. Just listen to the song. Cruel Angel's Thesis fucking slaps.
But yeah, I guess the takeaway is like, recommend your favorite things in a way that like is positive without shitting on other things, which, we've experienced with each other. Like, that's why I love Live, Nisekoi, Sword Art Online. Like, these are all things I got into because you guys talked to me about them without shitting on things that I might have also liked.
God, remember when like Crafts like didn't want to watch it and we like harassed him for like months? We were like, hey, Craftsdwarf, you pussy, why don't you watch Sword Art Online and make me come and cry? And he was like, no, I'm not interested in it. And I was like, wait.
Well, no, that's the thing. You promised me that if I watched Sword Art Online, you'd finish Hidamari's sketch, motherfucker, piece of shit.
Thank you guys for
scum
watching
ass
the podcast.
Bitch.
We'll be back.
We're not
run.
done yet. We have to talk about what we've been fucking.
Well, to finish that is, it's funny that and now SAO is one of my favorite anime, like Hidamari's sketch, but Hidamari's sketch, WattheWut hasn't watched because he's a scumbag.
I will.
Piece of shit.
I will.
No, you won't.
I will.
Oh, you what?
Sad.
You did a whole list of here's a bunch of things I want to get through this year.
Craftsdwarf.
Want to know what wasn't fucking on it?
I don't know, man. What wasn't on there?
Craftsdwarf. What do you think will happen first? None edits the video for you, or what watches Hidamari's sketch?
Oh, I'll watch Hidamari's sketch first.
Hidamari's sketch, yeah.
Yeah. Woo!
I knew you hated me, Vindy. Thank you.
So what have you been reading or watching lately, None?
No, you
because you've been
started.
quiet
No,
for like 5 years.
No, we're going in. Oh wait, should we go?
I
in
thought we were
reverse?
gonna
I'm
go
so
in.
confused.
We can go in reverse order.
I don't care. Well, Nun's just been really quiet, and I feel bad. Even though I also hate him, but that's neither here nor there.
None goes first because he's the first year. Nun's the fucking newbie. He goes first.
Okay, so I've been playing a lot of games recently because...
Disgusting.
Fuck you.
Because unlike before, I actually have like a PS4, and I don't just have like Nintendo systems, so it's like a whole different types of games that I can play now. And like I've been mainly playing like Kingdom Hearts. I really like it because there's not a lot of... I can't think of really like that many like action games on that I like own that I like on Nintendo systems. Maybe like Wonderful 101, but that's like, I don't know, it's a little different. And I think that it, in a lot of ways, I play the game differently than I've played other things because I'm more willing to keep like challenging myself to beat a boss or like do different things and it's like never frustrating to like re-challenge a boss because you can just go like right back into it, and it never like makes me replay through a level or something just to fight the boss again. So I really liked that. Oh, Vinny's not even gonna say anything. What the heck?
No, I was waiting for you to finish about Kingdom Hearts to say something. I already know what I was gonna say. I was gonna wait.
Okay.
It was
I would
interesting
probably
you brought
say.
up.
Oh, go ahead.
That's why I was gonna wait.
Go ahead.
Well, because you mentioned Wonderful 101, and what I think is interesting is like the Kingdom Hearts games you've played are way more like RPG based, right? And like Wonderful 101's like a character action game, right? Like it's Platinum, it's Kamiya. So like that's part of the reason why I think, but because you started 2, and 2 is what goes way more into like being an action game and less of an RPG. But I'm really curious to see what you think of 2 once you get. I think 2 is good. There's 2's halfway point. It's very obvious when it's the halfway point. I think 2's halfway point is when the game starts getting really fucking good, because that's like realistically the earliest you can unlock dodge roll, if you're smart in like one section, and then I think the game opens up a little bit more, and that's when like the combat gets really fun. But I'm excited for you to get. That's also I think the story gets a lot better then, and then after 2 the story just gets better and better and better. So
it's kind of like sad that like in the beginning where you're playing as Roxas, right?
Yeah.
I was like, when I initially started the game, I was like, I don't know much about Roxas, and like I could like him, but like I kind of just want to play as Sora already. Mm-hmm. And then like the end part of Roxas's thing, I was like, wait, no, like, because you know what happens at I don't know if I can like, just spoil it. Yeah, well, that's it made me sad. So I was just like, well, shit, now I want him back.
That's why I fucking hate the order that I'm pretty sure the collection has him in, because the collection is like 1.5 and then 2.5, right? 1.5 has 358 over 2 days in it, and Days is the prequel game that's about Roxas and Axel and a third person as org members.
See, I figured it was probably a prequel because I know.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I've like seen that game around like a little bit.
It pretty much ends directly when 2 starts. So some people like to play it before 2. But the problem is, first of all, 2 came out first. And also, you lose that feeling of like not knowing Roxas and just wanting to be Sora, and then being sad that Roxas is going away at the end of the beginning of 2's intro. So I think the fact that you feel like that already says good things about Days, where I fucking cry my eyes out at Days.
Sad. Isn't Roxas your favorite character? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he is.
You said that.
My favorite trio is the Sea Salt trio, which is Roxas, Axel, and then another person you haven't met yet. But I do love Riku and Sora a whole lot as well.
I would probably say that like.
Oh, I thought.
Craftsdwarf is so rude. I have other things that I like.
Well,
played
I thought we could like
watch.
talk about one at a time.
So,
like,
is it
and
one?
then, like
okay.
we can loop around.
Oh, okay. I'll just say one more thing about Kingdom Hearts then.
Bruh, you just said fuck you, Nun.
What have you been doing?
What have I been doing?
What the heck? I was just gonna say one more thing about Kingdom
gonna
Hearts.
say one more thing.
Okay, then let me say the thing about
You guys
Kingdom
hate him. What the
I thought you were
fuck?
gonna change to a different thing that you watched or played or read.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry too. I was following Craftsdwarf's lead. Never again.
Well, this is why we're really working out the kinks.
Yeah.
So.
I'm kinky, man.
I don't really understand like how people act like Kingdom Hearts has some kind of like like you can't understand it, or like as a bad story. Like I get why I guess people like aren't into it, but I also think how it goes about things, it feels like a very Disney kind of way to do. Like I feel like it really fits being like having Disney stuff in it with how it goes about things.
It definitely, I think, turns into more of like a JRPG. I mean, the people that call Kingdom Hearts, convoluted and impossible to understand, are the same people who will say that Final Fantasy VII is a complicated game.
Gosh.
Or a convoluted game. So that's the level, you know what I mean, that we're on. But like, I think part of it is that like Kingdom Hearts, legitimately, like it just directly tells you everything you need to know. But I think people get bogged down in like terms and in being cringe. But
I mean, people also
I agree
skip,
with you.
Like.
That's true. They skip games. I mean, look,
Knowing
Kingdom Hearts.
Someone skipped Recom is like insane because 2 is like literally like
2 is
following right up off.
2 is honestly more a sequel to Recom than it is to 1.
Important already.
Gore.
What was that?
2 is more a sequel to Recom than it is to 1.
Gore.
Oh yeah, that's definitely true.
I mean, Kingdom Hearts is a shonen manga in video game form, and so people who like shonen manga should like Kingdom Hearts. They're literally the same fucking thing. Sora's a man who screams about his friends.
Kingdom Hearts just has the type of people who would skip One Piece arcs, so...
That's true. Okay, what have you been reading or watching or jerking off to?
Jerking off to... So, the big thing that I finished recently, and I say the big thing sarcastically because it's not really that big, is D4DJ.
Your cock was, though.
Oh! You're weird, man.
Am I wrong?
You're weird, man. You're a fucking weirdo. So like, D4DJ's made by Sans again, and they're like the studio that did the CG for Premiere, but they also did a show that we watched before called ID0.
Oh!
And I don't know if you remember, ID0's CG wasn't really that bad.
No. It having a big twist after the credits on Netflix, where Netflix tells you to skip the credits, and you missed the twist, was pretty fucked.
Yeah, but no, the show itself, like the CG itself, isn't cringe. D4DJ is like one of what is it? What are they?
Bandai Namco?
Bushiroad. Oh. It's one of Bushiroad's like big fucking gotcha rhythm game fucking series. They
like
got.
that.
Love Live Squad Festival
Bang Dream
All-Stars, Bang Dream. If you want to include, because I guess Revue Starlight isn't a rhythm game, but it is still a gotcha thing that's in the same vein. They have crossovers with the other series all the time, and then D4DJ is like the newest one, and the whole show is animated in that like Bang Dream CG, which is interesting because I remember watching Bang Dream's first season back when it started airing. Show looked like shit and maybe want to die, and like I saw like shots of it after when you watch Bang Dream, or if you watch like especially D4DJ, the way they use the CG is extremely creative and it's really appealing to watch. The sound design is also really good.
These girls are fucking cute, by the way.
Oh, they're really fucking God. So basically, like D4DJ is interesting in the sense that like the way it goes about it telling its story, and it introduces like multiple groups. Like there's three main groups that it introduces in this first season, and we're totally getting like two more because there's three other groups that we haven't seen yet because we've only been introduced to Happy Around, Piki Piki, and Photon Maiden, which are like the three more popular ones from what I can gather. And it's interesting to see how like Bushiroad has like that formula of like the main group being like more of like the typical like, what is the word I want to look for? Like idol-esque music, which is funny because D4DJ, it's a show about DJs, right? But they got like the way they try to reason this is they have the DJ, the VJ, which is like the person who does like the graphics behind and the lighting and shit, and a background dancer, and like another, and then like an MC, I guess. But they basically just function the same as idols.
So do all the DJs go to the background to get familiar with each other's VJs?
I hope. I mean, like, there's like
okay,
they're like super horny for each other in this show, but like
nice.
But it's really cool the way the show has like introduces all the characters, gets you like familiar with them, and they're extremely likable too. Thank you for coming to the podcast. So for anybody who doesn't know, Vindy sent me terrible Tumblr art of the characters from D4DJ, and I want to die.
Sad.
They're dressed as fucking.
That's not even that bad.
They're in the Odonokizaka outfits, aren't they? Are they not?
You're making me want to die.
They're the same colors.
Why are you making fun of some hardworking artist's art? Like, what is wrong?
That's not even that bad. Like you're
Vindy
saying Tumblr art, and I'm like envisioning like something way worse.
Well, you're racist. So, yeah, D4DJ is like really fun to watch. Like, if anything, just for the way it's like animated and the sound design, because there's like a bunch, because of course we're gonna have like a bunch of sound effects that they use pretty well, and the way they use the CG, it only falls apart ironically when they use 2D animation, because they didn't make like 3D models for like every single character.
So it's kind of like Beastars, where it's you have like the really good CG, and then like there'll be 2D characters on screen, and they just look like a little off because they're not moving very much.
Like noticeably not as good, right?
Yeah,
and like that just goes to show that like if I hear another ape say some shit about like CG doesn't
CG
look
bad.
good in anime again, like please,
CG will never work.
it will never work in anime. If I don't believe it ever will. And it's just so irritating that I keep fucking hearing that shit because D4DJ and V-Stars both proven wrong, and D4DJ has one of the best openings of like this year and last year, so it's very good. Another thing that I ended up reading.
Wait, no! You go one at a time.
Yeah.
So now it's Craft's turn.
I get it now.
No, it's Vindy's turn. It's backwards.
It's Vindy's turn.
How does Vindy forget his place in the order again?
He never remembers. I don't know.
So, okay. So now that
Just ignoring that you forgot your place.
Now that I'm embarrassed,
Yeah, be embarrassed, bitch.
to back off the CG, I was gonna talk about something else, but I'll go off of CG. So my sister and I have been watching Yowamushi Pedal, the year 2, because she'd seen year 1 and I read all the manga a while ago, and I've seen year 1 of the show as well, and so we're watching year 2, and it's so fucking good. I mean, part of it is just that like Yowamushi Pedal is just a fucking good ass manga. The anime made some changes and some choices in terms of like cutting things and de-emphasizing some things that I wasn't a big fan of. But it uses CG, which is why I brought it up. And the CG's fine. I wouldn't call it great at times. Like there are some times where it looks weird because it does the thing where it's constantly cutting in between 2D and CG when they're on their bikes.
It doesn't like flow it like Love Live does, basically. Right?
Yeah, well, because like even Love Live, right? Like yeah. No, you're right. And I don't think it does as good a job. And sometimes it looks weird-ish, but it still looks fine. And like, my sister hasn't commented on it once, and so I know for a fact she doesn't even notice it, right? And she's way less of like an anime fan, right? Like she watches, some stuff, really likes Haikyuu, and likes Show Pedal a lot, but she doesn't notice, oh, this CG looks bad, or that it even is CG, right? She's just fucking enjoying it.
Or at least she's not vocalizing it if she is noticing
right.
it.
Like, it's not ruining her enjoyment at all. She's super into it still. And then, goddamn, that show might have, like, one of my favorite anime soundtracks. The fucking Yowa Pedal soundtrack slaps so unbelievably hard. I cannot believe it. So, yeah, that's most of what I have to say. Craftsdwarf.
You fools laboring over CG, you peasants, you trash. I've ascended.
Go ahead and talk about fucking
talk about real life shit. He's got to talk about fucking people in plastic suits now.
I've ascended. No, stop motion animation, motherfuckers. Pui Pui Molcar.
Oh, I love me some Molcar.
Yes. Have you watched all of it?
What the fuck is
Nice.
that?
I mean, it's literally like 10 minutes to catch up. It's 2-minute shorts of these little stop mission. Basically,
so
it's just
cute.
a world where
Is that what this thing is? Is that what the thing I keep seeing
you've probably seen some of it. Yeah. It's really getting really popular in Japan. I picked it up because of in the Jump comments. Either last week or the author of Magu-chan and the God of Destruction and the author of Mission Yozakura Family both mentioned it, and I was like, oh, check it out. And yeah, it's basically like these little stop motion mole cars where there's people who drive around in cars that are alive, and they're these like cute rodent animal things. And
I love the way that they don't roll. They like kind of like squish their feet and like waddle. I love it.
Right, and then they just they have their own sentience. Like there's one episode where a dude parks in front of a grocery store, and the car gets stolen by bank robbers, and the mole car is terrified the entire time. As he's being forced to join in on this bank robbery, and and they're so cute, and it's funny, and I do like stop motion animation, just because it's really like a little fuzzy.
I was thinking about it while I was watching it, is how much I love stop motion animation.
Yes, and so I mean it's like literally like 10 less than 50 minutes to catch up if you like pause and stuff, but it's it's because it's only 5 episodes out and they're like 2 minutes each. But I think they upload the new ones to their official YouTube channel. And there's no need for subtitles. It's funny because I'll go onto Nia and there's like the raws and then there's the sub versions, and I'm like, you're subbing the title card. That is the only text in the entire episode. Like it's something you could I could
title
show
card.
it's like the kind of thing that anyone from toddler up can enjoy, right? And me as the oldest one here, I'm like, I like the it's cute and funny, and it's a good couple minutes.
That's what I wanted to say really quick. That's what I forgot to say. You can watch all of D4DJ on YouTube, and if that's the case with Pui Pui Molcar too. That's interesting that a lot of like series...
it's only one episode a week. Like they remove the older episodes, which they also do for Supro's official channel, where they've been uploaded. They upload the new episodes of Ultraman, which Ultraman Z finished a little while ago, but they've been doing Gridman, but they'll only have like Absolute Conspiracy, which is like a spin-off thing. They'll only keep them like the last 3 episodes out, and then they'll remove them. So it's like a limited thing.
But that's what's interesting. Every single episode of D4DJ is still on YouTube.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's even interesting that they're coming to YouTube in general. Like watching Ultraman Z like live, because they would do use the Premiere function for it. It was just kind of neat to think that I'm more or less watching it at the same time. Like I think I'm watching it at the same time like kids in Japan are watching it, right? Which is just like it's interesting to think of that I can do. I'm gonna fucking end your life. I'm being serious here.
I know. I just couldn't help it. It was the easiest joke I could have possibly made.
I just think it's is funny. No, I mean I agree. I think it's cool that they're utilizing YouTube more, and I wonder how much of that is because obviously it was all like Nico. I wonder how much of that is because VTubers are starting to use YouTube. Like maybe they're realizing that there like is a market for it. I wonder how much that could be of it.
But yeah, it's a legitimately wholesome time, and I'd recommend watching Molcar.
It reminds me,
especially like there's no reason not. It's 10 minutes of your life. I'm sorry.
Craftsdwarf.
What?
Truly a masterpiece. Pixar Cars have nothing against this gargantuan paragon.
I mean,
media.
that's probably true. I haven't seen Cars.
I have experienced every emotion known to mankind watching this. The amount of serotonin injected into me should be illegal.
I want to know why they're feeling arousal, but also I don't.
Okay.
Like that's horrifying.
There are no faults in this anime.
They're fuzzy.
If there are, it's because of the humans. Because the Molcars will never be at fault.
Wait, Vindy, is that why why Molcar arouses you?
It was a joke.
If they went on a murder
furry.
Wait, shut up. If they went on a murder spree,
furry if he's a rat.
Wait. If they went on a murder spree, I will still forgive them no matter what.
That's fair.
Molcar.
I mean, the last episode, one of them like crashes and dies. Not really, but
fuck.
Well, it's like it's like a race, and one of them does crash, and they do the transparency. It wasn't in the sky, but there's like a transparency of the Molcar's like crying face, and it's
so fucking funny.
There's layers to this shit because this guy goes Molcar out of 10 makes me cry every time. Come on, Western audiences, the most beloved anime of the season is Pui Pui Molcar is in Japan. Don't sleep on it. You want to know what's actually trending in Japan? This. And then I look at this fucking man's profile picture. This fucking man's profile picture is a dog looking at me like this.
So, okay. I was going to say about fucking Pui Pui Molcar. It reminds me of Banana. And I have a friend who doesn't watch anime at all. But for some reason, really fucking liked Banana. Thought it was super cute. Really liked it. It's sterling.
I don't. Yeah, that's interesting.
And so I'm gonna show him Pui Pui Molcar because if he liked Banana, I have a feeling he'll like Molcar as well.
Well, because like there's only 2. Because I actually saw a Banana. I worked at Target for like a year, and I saw a Banana lunchbox.
Should have bought it and sent it to me. I love Banana.
I didn't know that actually. And the only point of proliferation I know of is because Year 8 when Banana aired, Pedantic Romantic did a video on Banana about the existential horror of Banana, which apparently got mentioned by Total Biscuit before he passed away. I think it was or it was on his podcast at least. So it's like I don't know where else it has proliferated into like where did your friend find out? Is what I'm wondering.
When Banana was coming out, he wasn't part of this, but me and another friend of ours really liked Banana when it was coming out. We would watch Banana every week. This was before Discord did screen sharing, so we would go on Rabbit in like 2017 or whatever, and we watched Banana every week on Wednesday when it came out.
Nice.
And I think someone might have told him just to check it out, and he watched it all in school one day in high school and really liked it.
Is it also like 2-minute short episodes?
I think they're 5 minutes.
5
Craftsdwarf,
minutes, okay,
it's amazing. There's an episode the best episode where they think there's a ghost, and so they're really scared and they're all running around, but it turns out it was Black Banana. They just couldn't see him because the lights were off.
This is fucked up. That's fucked up. What the hell?
Vindy likes this.
Vindy would like that one. What the fuck?
There's an episode where they go to the mall and there's all different kinds of bananas, and it's actually low key a little racist. I love it. Not actually racist, but
Yeah, you love it.
You
It's
would like
racist.
it. Holy
you love
shit,
it.
dude!
It's
I
funny.
hate you.
Well, I could say Molcar doesn't have any racism
yet.
Yeah.
Where's there's Victorian banana. Yeah.
Is it true that the show has crime, action, ecchi, horror, and thriller in it?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I just described the thriller element
And the
like,
horror. He
with
was
the-
scared.
Yeah,
I was scared
exactly.
for him.
What the
I
fuck?
don't understand the ecchi. Like that goes back to the arousal that I don't understand and I don't want to know.
Only rodents understand.
What are the fucking recommendations for this show?
Okay.
It's fucking
None.
Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
Fair. I did watch. I might actually like Pui Pui Molcar better.
Oh fuck.
I just said like the anime sin.
I mean, I
Anyway,
don't know if
none.
anyone blames
Your
you.
turn.
Oh shit.
We'll just do
Okay.
at least one more round.
Yeah, I think one more round. Because it's going long.
So
Holy
is
shit.
this my last one that I can say?
Yeah.
Yes.
Cocksucker.
Well, hypothetically,
Okay.
in a weekly show, like we'd give 2 every week. I guess
Yeah.
would be the idea.
Yeah.
So.
Well, because,
So I
guess
how
I'll
often
bring
are we
up-
going to finish entire things in a week, right?
Well, like for example,
Yeah.
I'm watching Sailor Moon right now. So if we did one next week
Oh,
and I
that's
talked
hot.
about Sailor Moon, that's like another like how many weeks would it take me to watch it?
Right.
That I can't really talk about it, right? Because I already did,
Yeah.
unless I have something new to add. So, right?
Yeah.
Like that's kind of what I'm thinking. So yeah.
How
Anyway,
many
go ahead.
times
Nan.
you jacked off while watching Sailor Moon, by the way?
0. Look,
Five.
Usagi's stupid. I can't. I don't.
Oh my god.
That's not my
Oh my
fetish.
god. There's this fucking. Oh my god. 1 second. Sailor Moon Usagi.
Why did he get excited at that?
There's this video that my friend sent me one time of Usagi, and I guess some guy, I can't find it. Some guy is talking to her, the guy that she likes or some shit is in like the convenience store, and this girl's like flirting with him, and she gets frustrated, and so she like puffs up her face into like a big balloon, and then goes like, "Pah!" like to get their attention. And I watched it like 10 times. We sent it to me. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Oh, this is,
She's so stupid.
I'm
I guess this is kind of similar to an idea. I guess we're derailing. Sorry, Nen, but this ties to a video you wanted to do, where like about how like outside perceptions can never really match actually experiencing the thing for yourself. Because I've known about Sailor Moon, like she's instantly recognizable, but I didn't know she was a thundering dumbass. Like, and crybaby. Like anything wrong will happen, and she'll start fucking bawling. Like, oh my god. Like, I had no idea what this character was like, I guess.
I mean, I
And
think the
then
anime exaggerates it like a lot
Probably.
more.
Oh,
'cause
no,
it's,
well,
like, there, but it's like from what I could tell in the anime, it's like something else.
I learn more and more about these people's fetishes.
You know what they say? You know how they say that the screen adds 10
It's
pounds?
funny.
Turns out for fucking Usagi, the screen loses fucking 200 brain cells. Probably more than 200. Whatever. I don't care.
Anyway, Nunmanji, please, before these two talk about their fetishes again.
Okay, well, I guess I'll bring up Inuyasha because I finished it like 2-3 days ago.
What'd you end up giving
It's
it?
really good, and like I super recognize how it could be like a favorite if it was just like a little like the kind of different. Like, you know, I don't like saying like, oh, it should be different, like, you know, but
all media should only appeal to me and no one else.
Okay, AnyTuber.
like I feel like this is a really weird example, but like I almost feel like Inuyasha has like, you know how like MHA has like the school stuff and then like the actual hero stuff, right?
Yeah.
I feel like Inuyasha has like so much of the quote unquote school stuff at times towards like, and like it's even worse in Inuyasha where like
It's not like
I
the
don't
point
really
or
care
whatever.
about these
I don't know.
people in the like villages necessarily, or these like certain demons that are like attacking the village. Like it's like hit or miss there. Whereas like even at least in the school stuff in MHA, it's like, you know, it's all like the same cast. Like if you already like the MHA cast and like everyone there, like you're like, I don't know, like I feel like you're not guaranteed to get as much out of like every kind of detour from the main thing as like something in MHA, for example. So it's like there's parts of Inuyasha where I just like don't really enjoy reading it, even if I think like the actual emotional core of the series is really good. And like Inuyasha and Kagome specifically, I would say they're like one of my favorite like couples and like dynamic like pairs in general. I really love Inuyasha because he's like just the best like male tsundere in anything for me, pretty much.
Can't believe you hate Sasuke.
No, dude, Inuyasha is actually really fucking good though. Like as a character, he is like a really good male tsundere. He's probably like one. Yeah, he is one of the best. I have to finish it so I can talk to Nunmanji about it.
Who is it that we know that fucking hates Inuyasha? Is it Retro?
It's Retro. Yeah, it's Retro.
You know what? I was saying this on Twitter. I was like, I understand if you've only watched Inuyasha, you would hate it because it's so slow. The anime like adapts shit like as slowly as possible. Like it's incredible.
I almost wonder how it is as an adaptation because it's like Inuyasha is like 558 chapters, and the anime is like 180.
Like it doesn't make sense,
the
right?
anime, like the first series.
The other thing
plus
is that the manga
final act
only
is
ended like a few
180
years
something.
ago. So right, like I remember when Inuyasha ended because I just saw a discussion on it. So it ended way more recently than the anime. So I don't know where the manga was when the anime ended.
They had like a 25 episode like ending to the series for some reason.
Yeah, final act seems
Anime
like it's
original
like
ending,
super.
gotcha.
Like I feel like it's like I'm kind of wondering what the pacing of final act is like because it feels like it like had to have sped it up like in like
turbo
way
mode,
too
right?
much to be
Like
as short as it is.
only in Final Act do we see his funny dragon sword and his funny space sword.
Look, I don't want to spoil it for there's a certain character who's still alive in final act and and within the space of like 25 episodes
They die.
like the person dies like 300-ish area maybe, and Inuyasha's like is 558 chapters.
What?
And
So you're
final
saying a
act is
25 episode it does like
20-something
200
episodes?
chapters?
No,
Dude,
I was
that's
just
It
saying
must
that
have
the
cut
anime-
a bunch of shit.
That's
the
almost
Like,
as
anime
bad as God of
ended
High School.
well before the manga.
well, like
the
the
anime had to end-
original like run, but not like final act. Like final act, like the original anime wasn't complete until final act. So like the manga was over by the time final act was a thing.
Oh, that was recent?
Yeah, like final act came out like years later after the original run
Okay, I
of
didn't know
Inuyasha.
that.
Got his ass.
God his ass.
I actually specifically remember when it aired on Adult Swim, like Final Act, and my brother was watching it, but I decided not to watch it because I didn't complete the original series, so I was like I wasn't gonna just jump in at Final Act, and he didn't complete the original series either. He just went to Final Act because it was airing, and he thought it was cool. But yeah, I want to watch it because I'm like curious, and like it's one of those things where it's like I tried a lot of times to finish it. Like finish the anime like when I was like a kid, and I just never finished it. So it's like, you know, I kind of want to fulfill that like, yeah, I finished it now, even though, you know, it's like 10 years late, but at least I did it.
Dude, Kagome? Question mark?
Kagome is like
Kagome.
literally one of the like, okay, I'm not gonna say one of the best. I don't believe she's one of the best, but like she's super underrated.
Yeah.
Because like I don't know, people just have this like, oh, they have to fight good and then they'll be good. But like she's literally the most mature out of the entire like main cast overall, because she puts behind the like past past grievances, I guess. Like she puts those behind her faster than Inuyasha does, faster than like everyone else does pretty much. And
their relationships really is a fucking highlight, though. Like,
yeah, it is. And like I think, you know, you could say, you know, she's from the modern world, and like she like everyone in the cast struggles with their past, and so like it makes sense, kind of like, I don't know how to phrase it correctly, but it's like the people in the past are stuck in the past, in like not just like they're from a different time, but like they struggle with their past more than Kagome does, who like moves forward, and she also is like literally like from modern times, so it's like kind of interesting there. And I also ended up really liking Naraku by the end, because I think he's a really good manipulator, and he like really brings out all the problems that the cast has, and like the whole like climax part of what's happening. It's like he's throwing these things that he's been like doing throughout the entire series back in their faces, and like making them face it like one more time. And I don't know, like he's really good, and there's things that I didn't know about him until I actually like you have to get pretty deep into the series to actually like really make these connections about him. But once it's all there, he's like really good. It's literally better Muzan from Demon Slayer, by the way.
He actually kind of is.
You know,
He
literally is. Like, it's so crazy that he's like the same kind of character.
One of the clear inspirations for Demon Slayer is Inuyasha. I'm just saying that.
I mean, I don't believe that. But
I'm gonna end your fucking life.
I'm fucking making a joke here, you fuckers.
I know, but I'm still gonna end your life because it's what and it's unfunny.
You're a cuss.
So yeah, I really like Inuyasha. Yeah.
Enjoying things kind of cringe.
I agree.
Oh, we're gonna talk about enjoying things being cringe.
What?
Hey, Vindy.
What's
Have
next
you
for
caught
you?
up to my favorite manga of all time? Let's fucking go. Redo of Healer.
I have not caught up to Redo of Healer.
It's so okay. Like, God, I don't think people understand. Like when I make fun of Redo of Healer, I'm not doing it out of some fucking weird like moral fucking shit. I think the manga's fucking stupid. It's the dumbest shit ever.
It's goated.
Yeah.
It's so funny. It's actually fucking hilarious. Like it's some
like
fucked
me.
up shit happens.
Is it hot
Stupid,
though?
but you like it, and hot.
I'm not gonna say I jacked off to it. What?
My problem with Redo of Healer in terms of being hot is that like it doesn't have their nipples, but then it also doesn't like take any care to censor them. So they're
Yeah, so you just see the shape of it.
they just look like fucking Barbie dolls, and it's cringe. Like either fucking censor the nipples with something so that I can pretend they're there, or like just be in a seinen manga magazine and have the fucking nipples.
It is 100%. Like if you put the
Like
nipples
I
back
don't
on,
jack off. It would be hot if the nipples were on there, because like I don't jack off to fucking Barbie dolls, right? That's cringe.
You don't? Are you sure about that?
Why is he saying that like he does that? Can
No,
someone
I'm saying, like,
help
you
me?
do
I'm
that.
scared.
saying,
Help
like,
me.
you
I'm
do
scared.
that. I'm saying like you do
Help me.
that.
I'm scared.
I'm saying like you do that.
I thought they were fucking Yohane figures in his mason jars. Turns out it's a Barbie.
What are you talking about? I'm talking about you. This is about you now.
I'm confused.
I'm confused too.
Okay.
Anyway, who's the best girl in Read Over Here?
Okay, no. I mean, okay, if I'm being completely honest, Vinny, have you met the demon chick with the black wings yet?
No, I'm like 7 chapters in, bro.
She's the only one he doesn't rape or
Sad.
manipulate with fucking.
How can she
Yeah,
best
Vindy
girl
would
if
be
she's
sad.
not even?
Because she's the only one they wrote to be a fucking character who he didn't fucking drug to like.
How is she a
Fuck.
character if she's not even worth fucking? Like, that
Holy
means she has no
fuck.
good qualities, man.
You guys are fucked up.
Oh boy, I hope this doesn't end up on the Weeb Club out
You
of
guys are
context.
fucking cringe.
Yeah. God.
Like, God,
damn.
none. What the fuck? Anyway, so like, no, she's like the only one who he doesn't rape or like fucking drugs into wanting to fuck him, right?
Right.
She's
well,
the only
because
one
Aren't
in
the
his
other
entire party.
the other girls? Isn't it because they treated him like shit? So like, I'm gonna get revenge by raping you, even though
Yeah. No,
they
so
already
it's
did
weird.
rape him.
You know what's weird about Redo of Healer, right? On top of being just real, like very clearly someone's fucking revenge fantasy, right? Rape revenge fantasy. It was like obviously that shit. And there's
Did
a
he
reason
rape
why.
the big black dude that raped him?
Yeah,
Pog.
I bet he does. Like I don't know about the light novel yet. Like so like here's what's interesting about Redo of Healer, right? It's still trying to do this weird shit where it's asserting that like, oh, even though I raped them, I only care about them because of because I want to have them around me for revenge. And it's trying to pull some shit where like now he cares about them. I'm like, dude, you fucking raped them and then rewrote their memories so that they liked you. Like you've destroyed their fundamental personalities. These are like basically dolls that you've created.
Imagine if Guts raped the black dude from the beginning of Berserk, right?
Yeah.
Like that would be cringe.
No,
But that's
okay,
what Redo of Healer is.
It's so fucking like okay, and and then like the other two, like one of them's like a fucking because every isekai series lately has to have like a furry slave, right? And like the furry slave, he grabs her and he's like, aha, you want to have revenge on people, right? She's like, yes, we want to have revenge on people. He's like, okay, so suck my dick and then you'll be more powerful. And then she does, and then they have sex, and then she like loves him because he enables her or something. And then he like drugs like the swordswoman chick with aphrodisiacs, and now she's in love with him because he fucked her once. And like, so you see this, but then he's still trying to be like, oh, you know, maybe I secretly love them. And it's like, you can't, that's cringe. That's weird. And I keep showing this fucking panel. I'm not going to look for it again, but there's a panel where like the girl with the black wings, who's the only one he doesn't, she's like, cause she genuinely believes this. She doesn't know anything about what he's been doing, but she like says, you know, it's okay, I'll be safe because I have friends by my side. It pulls a fucking friendship trope. And like it shows the group. And I'm like, half of these people are like fucking rape victims that he's brainwashed into loving him.
Well, he's also a rape victim.
Exactly. It's like, it's just like, it's a fucking merry-go-round of rape. And it's like, dude, this is weird. This is just fucking weird. Like, it's
BSA Vindy's fantasy, so like...
Yeah.
Shut up.
Man, remember when Vindy's identity on the BSA was that?
Yeah, I had to try to make a name for myself somehow. Look at me now. Now I want to be beaten up.
Man, I can't believe Vindy said I identify with Redo Healer.
That's not what I said.
That's what you said.
No, I just said I want to be beaten up. That's the opposite of Redo a Healer. Did you hear me?
Actually, it's not actually. It's not actually, in some cases.
Well...
Oh, there's the motorcycle. Craftsdwarf. One of my favorite Craftsdwarf characters is the motorcycle.
I fucking agree that the motorcycle is a pristine Craftsdwarf character.
Season 1 of Craftsdwarf also had the dog in the train.
God damn it. Alright, that's basically, because like I read that shit because I did, and like, don't watch the anime. The anime, if you want to laugh even harder because it looks and is just worse, go ahead, have fun. But, like, just read the manga, man. At least the manga will have better art. Like, shit.
All right.
Jesus. Have fun,
My
Vinny.
turn. I got it. Haha. I almost said Craftsdwarf go, but then my brain activated.
I was going to make a joke like, I wonder if Vinny's going to forget what the order
will,
is
though.
and make him doubt himself.
I have played 22 hours of Assassin's Creed 4 in the last week.
Good thing I play all that Assassin's Creed.
The game is fucking good. I forgot how good it is. I'm starting to get a little tired of some of the parts of it because I've been playing it so much. Like I played it for like 5 hours last night. And I don't know why, other than that God hates me and I hate myself. But it's really fun. I just love pirates. I just love being a pirate, you know, and like fucking shooting my cans at a ship, fucking coming on with 2 swords, beating the shit out of all the guys, shooting them in the fucking face. You know, stealing their fucking rum and wood and then selling it off. It's fun. I don't know. The story's pretty good so far. I've been kind of not doing a lot of the story, so I'm excited to finish up most of the side stuff I want to do and get to, like, the actual, like, story, which should be soon. Because I've only done story stuff when I need to unlock more side content. So I'm hoping I can just kind of finish it up soon. But I really like the game. I haven't played it since, like, 2014, and it's wild to me because, like, I'm playing the game now at when the game came. Like, okay, because the game came out and was on both, you know, the 360 and the X and the One, or the PS3 and the PS4, right? Like, it was on both console generations. It was, like, one of the first games on the new generation, one of the last games on the old generation. And that's where we're at now with the current gaming generation. So it's wild playing it now, like basically a full console generation later, and seeing like how games have changed since then, you know? Mm-hmm. Because it's the exact same place in gaming, like in, you know, console generations now that it was at when it came out, which is like the most interesting part of playing it and seeing like how much better even just visuals on the same hardware have gotten since then. Or like how much like little things about like AAA game design have changed. So I'm liking it. It's fun. I'll probably finish it this week if I can.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've played Assassin's Creed too, but I don't even think anyone else here
has
have
Assassin's
any.
Creed.
Yeah. I want to go back. It's making me want to go back and play 2 and then Brotherhood and Revelations because I like Ezio a lot, and I have a feeling if I replay him now, he'll probably be one of my favorite characters. because I think I'll really, really like him.
Cool.
Oh.
So about a week ago, I finished. So WattheWut, I'm pretty sure you're recommending this to me, and I don't remember why exactly because I can think of two reasons. Sakura-so no Pet no Nakanojo.
Used to be one of my top 10 favorite.
I would say, what likes that show a lot?
Yeah. Well, because it's like, did you recommend it to me because either like Sheena is highly autistic, and we were talking about like sort of moe,
she's basically actually
Mr. Cynical.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Well, I figured it was either that or Hidamari Sketch because they're at an art school and they live in like a dorm, a small boarding house as a group that's tied to the school, even if it's not like literally across the street. So that was the other reason. I forget exactly why you recommended it to me.
It was because we were talking about it, and I remember like. Because you were talking about, like, moe, because a certain someone in Canada said that moe is autism.
Yeah, exactly, and which is an argument that falls apart when you point to, my example show was Sketchbook Full Colors, where it deliberately has certain characters evoking certain traits on like, one character I can point at, like, ADHD. This other character has one moment that maybe reminded me of OCD. Like, I want to read the manga and see how much more there is, but and then so I think on that train of thought, what recommended this show to me, where the main character, it's probably less interesting to me in that specific way because she's kind of just the genius autistic savant kind of trope where she barely functions except in like one area where she's like a god basically. So she's like a brilliant painter who wants to be a manga author, but also like she can barely dress herself in the morning, and the main character kind of ends up having to. He's on Mashiro duty because he has to like help her like function and make sure she remembered to wear underwear and stuff like. This show is horny as fuck. Like holy shit! I did not expect to open up this show and like it practically opens with the main character like. So there's a hot girl in his bed who's an upperclassman, and like her ass is sticking out of the sheets, and then the dorm manager, she's the teacher, and she's got like a fucking cleavage hang out. I'm like, oh, this is a dream sequence, and it wasn't. Like the show is just that horny. That one of the other people at the dorm, Jin, he fucks. He just has sex with lots of women, and like that's just the thing. And I'm like, our show, I just don't watch shows this horny that often. I guess. And the upperclassman I mentioned really wants to fuck that guy. To the point that like in the episode she ships herself, or she gets in like a package in his room, and she's like wrapped up like a gift for him because she wants him to fuck her, and she's a big dumb titiot, as I kept calling her, because she's got big tits and she's fucking stupid. And she's also my favorite character.
That's fucking degenerate, Craftsdwarf.
Craftsdwarf, what the fuck? What the hell?
It was fun. Like it's definitely one of those things where like I'll just be kind of out of it for the normal things, but then when it gets to a dramatic moment, like they bring in some like there's more sakuga in those moments, and they definitely make those moments hit and they really stand out. And the finale of the show in particular was really fucking good.
Oh, it's so good. It fucking destroys.
Yes, so I didn't love the show, but I had a good time with it, and what else can I use to recommend? Like, I had a good conflict, sort of like, I guess, about like talent, where or characters without talent existing next to characters who do have talent. Which is, it's kind of like a more extreme version of, again, to do a Hidamari Sketch comparison of like being this character who's super insecure about what she does at the school with a bunch of other people who know what they want to do, or she thinks they know what they might have the idea of what they want to do, or like Miyako, who's like really she's really good and creative at what she does, right?
Yeah. Because we were talking about Hidamari Sketch, and I mentioned Sakura-so as well.
That might have like that's why I said there's like two reasons you would have recommended to me, but Sakura-so kind of is a bit like it's a more exaggerated version of that, or it goes more where again like one of the characters involved is like a literal like genius artist in a professional field that's considered like high art, right? Like where the main character kind of gets into video games, and she wants to do manga, but like she as a painter, she's already like well respected and a genius in that field. And there's another character who knew her as a painter that kind of comes in. So it's like that's what the like core idea of the show is about. Yeah, it was neat. I liked it.
You got the Craftsdwarf neat, man. That's crazy.
Yes, I Craftsdwarf approved neat. Just put that stamp right on the poster.
This is so.
That's about it.
Oh yeah. One thing I wanted to say about Sakura So, which is like.
Oh yeah, unless you wanted to say something, what? Because you're the only one I think has seen it aside from me now.
The writer behind it is the same one behind Toradora Anohana.
Oh. Golden Time, I think.
I forgot her name, but she's like.
No, Toradora's.
Did you make the whole? Did you make that whole series about fucking like?
Mario Okada?
Mario Okada, yeah, she's the one behind Sakura So.
Yeah, no, she's I was like, wait a minute.
Didn't she
so she's
also
the same
do
writer behind
Anohana?
Yes.
Which is like interesting.
Well, she's done a lot of shows, and yeah, she doesn't always hit, but
she's
she
good
had
at
like
melodrama.
like don't let Anohana make you think that she's just a bad because Anohana what you say that she's good at melodrama like. Anohana, even though we all dislike the show, it all made us all cry. Like that,
Not
you know,
fair.
like even if we don't like the show, and like especially Vindy,
Undeserved.
apparently it's like a worse Little Busters, but it's like it still made us cry. Like on some level, it worked, right? And so so yeah, okay, I didn't know it was Mario Okada's show.
Yeah. I'm because
like honestly, like think about that. I guess it's like toned down in some ways.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's been years since I watched it, and I tried to rewatch it recently.
No, it's not. I'm looking. It's the
Is it
author
really
is
not?
No, the author is Kamoshida Hajime.
Because I remember like hearing
or
it.
the writer is
Fucking
who did
owned.
Wait, no. Is it actually? Because I thought I heard it differently. That was Mario Okada.
What taking these L's?
No.
Oh wait.
I don't see Toradora anywhere on there. I'm looking at the light novel author.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Yeah, you're.
Oh no. So okay, no.
yes.
So Mario Okada was behind the series composition, and she like did fucking. Hold on.
So she worked on the anime, but she wasn't the original author, which is what Craftsdwarf
Yeah,
is
she
saying.
no. So she did the script for the series composition for Toradora as well. She's like this. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So then one way to say it is that she's really good at adapting light novels into an anime, right?
And that's different from like
That's
something
different
that
from
she
writing.
wrote.
That's different from writing an anime, which could be why
That's
we didn't
actually
like.
interesting. Look,
Which could be why we didn't like Anohana if she was the writer of it, but we like Toradora and y'all liked fucking this show.
Sakura So yeah.
Because she adapted it.
I just saw something on her page. There's a show she did both the script and the series composition for. And,
Por qué?
That we like.
You might like it.
What is it?
Craftsdwarf. Guess you have to watch it.
I mean, I haven't seen it. I know of it though.
Yeah, you would know of it.
Yeah.
She did Hanasaku Aroha.
On that note, let's probably end the episode.
End our lives.
Well,
yeah, this
and
only
our
went on
lives.
for 2 hours without talking about comments.
And our lives.
So.
Yeah.
And also, we didn't talk about because I assume at one point we would talk about the because the idea was to keep doing the poll. Right. So we would have talked about what I guess we would start this segment with that, or maybe do it in the middle would be a good idea. So after my first pick, we'd do I guess Jujutsu Kaisen. I guess if that was what we were still watching or whatever. So okay, all right. Thank you for listening. And
I thought there was a final thoughts part.
For what?
We didn't finish.
Didn't you say that earlier?
No, that we go in the same order that we do for final thoughts, except now we're doing it in reverse.
Oh,
this is crazy.
None really
I'm sad
cannot
because
listen.
I thought of something. Look, I thought of something in Inuyasha I didn't say,
I'm
and it made me sad. So I was hoping.
I'm still recording, by the way, so you can keep talking.
Just say it real quick.
The end stuff with Inuyasha and Susomu was so fucking cool. Like I love when characters are acting like they don't want to help. They don't want to help someone, but they're totally helping them, and the entire thing where Shisomu's accepting his role in terms of how he has to help Inuyasha and what his father intended Shisomu to do was really good, and how their swords are related I won't say, but I really liked that, and I was I don't know, for a while, I wasn't, standing Shisomu, how some people seem to, but, the end content of, him starting to care about humans like Inuyasha does. He maybe cares about them a little too much if you Yasuhime, but
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I mean, I don't even know the characters, but I know of one thing that you guys were talking about. So
yeah. But what was I gonna say?
Let's just say some characters in Inuyasha were watching Kaku Ranger.
This is cringe. Go
I
ahead.
just really liked his stuff, and like.
Thank you guys for watching.
Eventually, wow. Okay, Inuyasha like eventually wins me over on these, even the characters I'm like not as strong on. Like I never had a problem with Susomu, but
what did you rate it?
Like,
I mean,
not
that
the appeal
we need to rate
yet.
rate the series here, but what score did you give it out of curiosity?
What, Inuyasha?
Yeah,
I gave it an 8.
Okay, that sounds like what from what you're saying, like what you probably gave it. I was just curious. So.
Nah, he gave it a fucking 6. He hates it, man.
Sad.
That is sad.
All right, thanks for listening. Goodbye.
Wow. Okay, goodbye.